Hey, good evening. Good evening. Welcome to our Tuesday night conversations. Come on in. Come on in the room. Come on in. Let's get ready to share this. You already know we take a few first moments to share our broadcast to our timelines because we need you to be a part of our Tuesday night conversations.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't say share this on your timeline
And we know.
and we don't do the same. So we are inviting people right now into um, our group session and would love for you to join us as Tuesday night conversations are truly a conversation. And we
Mm-hmm.
want you to engage in the dialogue. So as you're checking in, as you happen to be passing by and wondering what we're doing on live, maybe this is your first time, or perhaps you're a church family and you're joining us tonight. As you already know, tonight is Bible study. Come on and let us know in the comments that you have checked in and that you're watching with us. We're
Yeah.
so glad to see you tonight. Trust me, this conversation is going to be one that you do not want to miss. And so, like I said, if you're checking in with us, we see you watching, go ahead and chat in the comments. As we already know, Tuesday nights, because we're virtual, you got to get those fingers ready to dialogue and chat with us in the
Yes.
comments. Let us know where you're watching from
Please,
tonight.
please.
Love that you're on with us tonight. And so we would
This is
love for you to
awesome.
be here.
Awesome.
We
Awesome.
always take the first few moments, as we always say, to share on our timeline. So that's what you see us doing right now in this moment. And we're going to make sure that all of the persons that usually join us are with us. And so
Yay.
let me do.
How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? Good. Good evening, Sister Carlene. Good evening. It's always good to see you in the place. Good to see you in the place. Another Tuesday night. We thank God for making it another Tuesday night. Aren't you happy that you've made it another Tuesday night? Last week was a pretty eventful Tuesday. Uh, we experienced the verdict of the George Floyd murder
Mhm.
of the cop, and on that same day, unfortunately, we had another situation
Mhm.
that's still unfolding, and they just keep unfolding about another black male being deceased in the hands of a police officer, and we can talk about that. And but we are
And
praying,
female,
and
because there's
female.
so many
Well, yeah,
shootings that are going on. It's definitely, we always say we're exhausted, but it's beyond exhaustion, you know.
yeah.
And
We,
so that has
we
taken place
tired.
this past week. Um, hey y'all, come on and chat with us in the comments. I know we must sound like we are a little tired. We're thankful for the sacrifice tonight on this Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that, hey, Brother Doug, I know you are sitting there with Sister Carlene, so we're excited that you are with us as well. And Sister Avis, I see you peeking in, and
Mm-hmm.
Sister Alicia and Minister Mia, thank you so much for joining us tonight. But yeah, so we could start off with the evening just telling you, y'all, we are fully vaxxed, fully vaxxed, fully vaxxed. And that's why
Yes.
we sound like we are exhausted. We are pushing through
Mm-hmm.
whatever our body may be going through right now. But we're thankful that we do what we can do so that we can all be together once again and hug each
Yes.
other and love each other and be each other's space and
Get your
breathe.
vaccinations, y'all.
And
If you haven't,
so, if
yes.
you're able, because I know that is a personal decision, I know there are health reasons, and I know that maybe people aren't feeling comfortable just yet. But if you
Mm-hmm.
are able and if you so desire, please go ahead and do what you got to do in order for you to remain safe. We had a very real wake up call, I guess you could say, that COVID-19 is absolutely still real and it's absolutely still, unfortunately, taking lives of people that
Mm-hmm.
we do know. And so that happened this week in our lives. And so we are praying for that particular family.
I'll be
Um,
more specific. In the musician community out of the East Coast, there is a well-known musician named Paris Bowens. If you know Ty Tribbett, if you know Israel Houghton and Newbreed, this young man has contributed greatly musically to those artists and then some. He's blessed so many musicians, myself included. He and I have interacted for quite a few times. We've had a mutual respect for one another and nothing but love. This man, if you've seen him interact on social media, what you see is what you get. Unfortunately, he succumbed to COVID over the weekend, and a young man in his late 30s, early 40s,
yeah.
with a family of two kids and a wife. passed away over the weekend, and so the musicians community is devastated.
Absolutely, because to be honest, it happened really fast. One moment, and many of you may have had friends and family members who have succumbed to COVID-19, or yourself have gone through it, and so you know that for several days you can have it and not know it. And from what we could tell of Paris, one moment he is playing music, he's happy, he's on social media, he's checking in, and then literally within 3 days, it was like, "Hey guys, I have COVID." The second day it was like, "Hey guys, I'm in ICU, but I'm okay." And then the third day it was like, it was like breathing, but I can't respond. And then the fourth day, thinking he was going to have another update, was the day that we found out he passed away. And so just hug on your friends and family as much as you can. Do what you can in order to continue to keep people safe. Pastor Amos and I are okay, but we are really definitely battling through just the effects. So if you hear us sound tired, know that it's just because we've done our part, and trying to keep our family safe and trying to keep our church family safe.
But also, I try to be Mr. Incredible Hulk and go to the gym and train with my trainer after getting the vaccine. So I'm double tired. I pushed myself and went. I had to reschedule my training. I normally have training early on Tuesdays, but I ended up having to go get vaccinated. So I told my trainer I'll come later in the day. And so I almost canceled, y'all. But I said, you know what? It's for my health. And I told my trainer, I said, take it easy on me. And he didn't, but he understood. And so I still went to the gym and trained. So I'm a little doubly tired, if that's a word. I'm doubly tired. But praise the Lord. We are here for our Tuesday night conversations. We're going to get into the word of the Lord, and I guarantee it's going to energize us, because tonight, oh my goodness, I just previewed just the stuff we're talking about. There's so much substance in this.
Absolutely.
Because it's coming from a personal place. Like a lot of the things, sometimes, we may share stuff that we may have heard of, or we, experience a revelation from God from. But this stuff right here that we're sharing, we live this.
Yeah.
We live this.
Yes,
so we're going to speak from experience, knowing that if he can do it for us, he can do it for you.
Hey, Sister Dean, how are you? Good to see you
Good
tonight.
To see
y'all. Sister Diane.
Sister Minister Mia. Stay tuned. In a couple of weeks, we're going to get you back out here, Sister Minister Mia. Please, you better clear your calendar. She stay booked. She got a ward.
I'm booked and busy.
We love you, Minister Mia, but we know. Yeah. We appreciate you. So anyways, so tonight we want to continue on our series with a passion and purpose. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Pastor Amos was with y'all last week. He held it down for the family.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that you did that, so that I could have some time to spend with my daughter.
She's in Girl Scouts. She's in Girl Scouts now. You know how many of y'all had y'all daughters in Girl Scouts? Yes. Gracie's in Girl Scouts. So Pastor Jasmine has to be a Girl Scout mama. Is that a word? Is there a troop mother or something?
Well,
is there a term for it?
We're a very active troop of moms, and so it's not just drop off. The moms were very involved as well. It's something that I am enjoying doing with her, and so from time to time you may see me dip out because of Girl Scouts, and we're excited to being able to enrich young girls in elementary school with life lessons that really just you know how it is. If you've never been a Girl Scout, it really just improves your self-esteem and things that she needs at this core age. And so we're excited for the Girl Scout season and other seasons that are to come. Listen. Why don't you go ahead and review what it was that we that you talked on, and I'm going to piggyback off of you.
Okay, I'm going to go straight into it. So last week I shared 4 out of 7 essentials to help you reach your God-given potential and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I was talking about, having a clean heart. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, renew in me a right spirit. I talked about that. Second thing, I talked about having a clear mind.
Yeah.
It's just, it was renewing, being transformed by the renewing of your mind. That was so important in reaching your God-given potential. Third thing I talked about, using your gifts the right way. I talked about so many people sitting on their gifts, like, or whatever they're contributing is just only a portion of what God has gifted them to do. And so we are encouraging, in order for you to reach your God-given potential, use your gifts the right way, all of them, not some of them, all of them. Because once you clean your heart, once you renew your mind, you'll have the freedom to use all your gifts. You don't have to deal with the past hurts and disappointments. You're going to be willing because God has healed your heart and God has cleaned your mind. And now you're ready to move and give and to participate in your gifts. And then a healthy body. See, I was talking about healthy body. I still went, even though I had every excuse to give up on my gym workout today, I still said I'm going. So because I want to practice what I preach, a healthy body. In order to really do and reach my fullest potential, I have to really focus on a healthy body, and not just, we talked about mind, body, and soul, the whole aspect, and the healthy body in all aspects. Because I really, really want to reach my God-given potential. I don't want to remain stagnant, stale, stuck.
Yeah.
Because that's not what I believe God has brought me on this earth to do. And so I talked about in the healthy body that I went through a procedure a few years ago to lose weight. It was a tool. It was not just it. Like, I didn't just go through the procedure and lose weight. No, I had to work at it. I had to work at it, and I'm still working at it. I eat today. I went to the gym, even though I had every excuse to stay home, because I want to have a healthy body. So that was number 4. So we got 3 more.
3 more to go.
3 more to go.
But I wanted to add on to some of those things that you just shared, because I wasn't with you last week. And so there's a couple of perspectives I think I want to throw in there for a couple of people. And so, like we said, we're coming from experience. And so the clean mind, clean heart. And it's so interesting that I believe that, in the last 4 or 5 months or so, this is the second time that God has really put this focus point in our purview, right? We preached about having a clean heart and mind and soul initially, and now here we are again in a Tuesday night Bible study, and the focus is clean heart, clean mind, clean soul, healthy body. And so point being, I think there are some things that, we have probably held on to. I know for a fact that I have, and it's called spring cleaning for a reason. I think the reminder is coming right on time for the areas in our lives, and not only our homes. A real life example of today, I started, I can't even boast that I finished, but I was like, you know what? My home, my room is a reflection of my mind. And that's true for me. I don't know if it's true for you. If it's true for you, come on and let me know in the comments. When your space is cluttered, when there's paper everywhere, when there's books maybe lying everywhere, or you maybe have some unfinished projects, I am one, and truth be told, I'll just reveal, I am one that it's called object permanence. If I don't see it, I forget that it exists. So I kind of lay out my things on my desk in order of how I need to work my projects so that I don't forget what to do. I'm not one that can have a file cabinet and file things away. He hates it. That's how we work in separate spaces completely.
I plead the fifth.
But I am one who I just suffer from that. And so I can't, at the end of my work shift, clear my desk and put things in a file, because the very next day I will forget where I left off and what I need to do. So I lay everything out on my desk. And so I started to try to clear my space so that I could clear my mind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many days I take off of work. It doesn't matter how many projects I check off. I always feel overwhelmed. And I feel that's probably because of my object permanence habit. Because no matter if that, project is complete, that my space is still congested. Yeah. And so when we're talking about clearing our minds, sometimes we have to think about the things that we are really, when we say occupying our space, it's not just, it's not just the things that you can see up front. Mm-hmm. It's not just the obvious things, but sometimes it could be those things that you forget are just bad habits that are contributing to your mental clutter. Mm-hmm. And so if that's you, let me know. Come on, relate to me in the comments, let me know if that's you as well. Yes. Or maybe you're opposite of me. Maybe you're like my husband, where, in order for him to think absolutely clear, it has to be almost on the OCD level, has to be absolutely clean, clear at the end of the night. Like he cannot sleep, lay his head, rest his pillow unless everything is reorganized. So which lane do you kind of
I have to. We're both creatives, and we're both creative. And what fuels my creativity is cleanliness, and I always say cleanliness is always is close to godliness. So I really work on keeping my area clean, and I like to leave things in order. Especially, I grew up, if you borrowed something from someone, you treat it like it was yours. You give it back in either the same condition or better. So I've always treated my stuff like I want people to treat my. So I'm always cognizant of, my area, because I feel like if my area is a mess, then my thoughts will be a mess. If my area, is in disorder, I will feel like my thoughts will be in disorder. And so it affects my creativity, where for some other creatives, come on.
Keep going. Share your heart. It's okay.
Come on, Sister Diane, don't call me.
It is OCD loaded. I mean,
listen,
but honestly, it's more orderly. We are both creatives, but at the same time, we have different ways of organizing.
But I have to, yes, it started off innocently as just being neat. And then it grows, because as the projects grows, as the demand grows, Pastor Jasmine gets her clutter it grows.
It's called organized confusion.
Oh no, I don't believe in organized confusion.
No, here's a perfect example. Husband and wife, we just gonna be transparent. He tried to help y'all and deleted everything I had ever worked on by just trying to help. And I did forgive him, but it was so painful.
Yes, I did.
To lose all of my,
Listen,
work,
I'll be honest. Listen,
I'm a leave all tabs open kind of person.
I'm a person. Okay, I'm also a good steward over my stuff. So whether it's my electronics, and so I'm always going into my laptop. I've had my laptop that I'm on now for almost it's a 2013. So that's almost 8 years. Most of these laptops only last 3 to 5 years, but I've been able to push it to 8 years because I take care of my stuff. And so all of the devices around our houses, I'm always making sure I'm going to clean it. If there's any viruses, anything, I'm always in there. I'm like the little tech guy of the household. So my wife, Pastor Jasmine, has her desktop is extremely cluttered. And it affects the performance. See, that's a word. Stop. But it affects the performance. If your computer is cluttered, a bunch of stuff, it affects the performance. And she's constantly complaining, oh, my software is running slow. My stuff, because you got a lot of junk on here that you haven't gotten rid of. You still got a lot of junk on it. So my role is Sister Diane won't leave me alone. So I do my job in order for her computer and her device to run at its fullest potential. You see, it ties into the lesson.
I told y'all I am a leave tabs open kind of person.
It affects the performance. But it affects you won't allow your device to reach its fullest potential if you allow it to remain cluttered. So me and my efforts as being a good husband and a good tech guy, I help clear the clutter out of her a folder that is supposed to have temporary items. And so it's called the downloads folder. It's only supposed to have temporary. You don't put permanent files in a temporary.
Okay,
see,
that's a whole
I'm preaching now. I'm preaching. Stop joking. But seriously, like, so I cleared her temporary folder, which had her permanent files in that she shouldn't have had in the first place.
You don't have to be that specific.
Okay. I cleared her temporary folder by mistake because I was trying to help her. And it ended up erasing months and almost years of work that she should have saved in an appropriate folder. We thank God for it, but she forgave me, and I love her.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for all of that, Pastor Amos. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Well, Darius, at least you gave him
thank you, sir. Thank you. Tonight. I appreciate it. Don't leave me out here, fella. Don't leave me out here,
Lord,
here in the woods.
Listen.
Hallelujah.
Because I was telling on myself, and then you really went in. But all I was saying, honestly, you would prove the point. Really, in order for the full potential to be reached, yes, the clearing of the mind, the clearing of the heart, all of that, it's good in theory, but there are other places that we have to apply this.
Yes.
And so in this spring cleaning season, if you don't feel like you have something to clear out, look at the space around you. And perhaps that is a reflection of the things that you're hiding from yourself. And so for me, that was very real today. Mm-hmm. It was like, okay, I am always tired. I am always feeling overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. My space, I can't even get the things off of my desk, object permanence or not. And that is a reflection of the fact that I need to clear the deck. And so I did take the next couple of days off so that I can do these things, even if it's just a download and just relax.
Listen, listen, she's not the only one. I have my moments. I have my seasons where I do allow things to just lay there, just mess. Like if I go to my office, no, don't put me there. Don't you put that on me. Don't put that on me. We're different. Seriously. But yeah, we have seasons where things just starts going on top of each other. It just gets a little overwhelming. And so the human aspect of it, yeah. So, but it's important to have a certain level of self-awareness. Absolutely. And so now I'm in a place where, okay, I went and saw my doctor today, and there is progress, but there are also a little bit of slippage. I'm slipping back into some old habits. So thankfully, we had the conversation. I said I need to remain self-aware that okay, you're slipping into some old habits that can lead you down a wrong path. Mm-hmm. So it's important to remain self-aware. Is my heart clean? Is my mind renewed? If not, what steps do I need to do to renew my mind and clear my heart or clear my surroundings in order so I can reach my fullest potential? Because the things are not going to change. The goal is not going to change. The only thing that can change is how you contribute to your goal.
Yeah.
We have a goal as a family. We have a goal as individuals. And that goal it's going to keep going higher. We're going to keep, but for us, either we're going to be too tired or we too frustrated or we too congested with junk that we can't reach our fullest potential. So it's important to be aware, to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am doing this the wrong way and I need to correct it. I need to be honest with myself. I said, yeah, it's comfortable to let stuff just go, but obviously it's not allowing me to reach my fullest potential. So it's good to do inventory, be aware, and clean the junk. Amen? Amen.
You ain't lying.
But I'm talking to myself too, because I find myself allowing being overwhelmed with, deadlines and work and school and all that stuff. And it's starting to show. So when you start seeing signs that is out of your norm, that's a sign like, okay, you're about to enter into danger zone. Mm-hmm. Be aware, slow down. Like Pastor and I are seriously considering finding some time to just unplug.
Yeah.
Like, because it
was a suggestion before, but now it's kind of like mandated because, and truth be told, this part, let me say this part, pastoring, teaching, preaching fills us. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that absolutely, we know that we are walking in our God-given purpose right now. We are taking the risk that God has told us to take in order for us to reach our potential, for us to fulfill the purpose that he has in our lives. But in addition to pastoring, y'all know we have 3 additional jobs. We run businesses and things like that. And those things do also pull energy that we can't necessarily place here. So how can we, be at our full potential teaching and preaching if we're not unplugging from the things that are draining the battery?
And so we love it. I love it. And the thing is that, for people who don't know, I'm into film. I'm into music. I do that full time in addition to everything else. And in order to do that, you have to kind of remain fresh ideas. But if you're constantly bombarded with stuff and full of frustration, full of congestion of thoughts, congestions of stuff, your schedule's everywhere. If you're not taking our time to just unplug from it all, to kind of restart, clear your cache, for those who are
the women of God on this conversation tonight I'm just going to speak for us and say we're not clear cache kind of people.
Well, it's important to in order to have the best.
We've left our tabs open, Pastor Amos.
Listen,
for the non-techies.
I love my wife, y'all. I say it to the whole world wide web.
Cookies.
I love Pastor Jasmine, but she has at least 75 tabs open on her web browser. And look, 70. It'd be like a whole thing is tabs, and I'm like, how do you function?
The web browser is a metaphor for what's open in my mind. Okay, y'all.
You can't have all these tabs open. I have at least 2 or 3 tabs open at once.
Do I have any witnesses? Come on, sounded super deep. Do I have any witnesses tonight?
Listen, yes, thank you, Miss Sister Diane. Clear your cache, so in order for your stuff to function right.
Do I have any witnesses tonight?
See, I'm gonna preach what I've been trying to preach.
That have all the tabs open like
no, it's not gonna. And she has.
I'm gonna get better.
Yes, and I believe it because she has a newer computer than I do. And let me actually, her computer is.
I might have about a few browsers open right now, and I might be upset if you close them.
Yes, you can save the browser for another time, bookmark it. But seriously, as a creative, it's important to find time to just breathe. Mm-hmm. Simply breathe. No, not looking. I find myself when you're frustrated, you're stressed, you're anxious. You find yourself, doing dumb stuff like constantly flipping through your phone or looking at emails or doing stuff you just don't need to be doing. It's important to drop that for a moment and breathe. Yeah. And so Pastor Jasmine and I, listen, St. Luke, listen closely. We're going to take,
y'all a hint.
Listen, we're letting you know soon. It's not happening tomorrow. We're getting ready to take a chance to breathe a little bit because it is getting a lot. And so we want to be fresh. We want to refresh so that we will take a season to just breathe. And so, but it's important to do that because you want to live a long time to reach your fullest potential. You want to live a long time. And it's just like a car, every some odd miles, you stop somewhere for maintenance. Yeah. You got to stop somewhere for maintenance. If you don't, and you keep driving the car beyond its time for maintenance, that oil sign is going to let you know the engine is going to be like, check engine light now, and so you don't want that check engine light to come in on your body because it might be too late.
Yep, we can go shopping. Thank you, Sister Alicia. I will take you up on that.
Oh no, that's all. She still got clothes. Listen,
coming. Come on, don't worry about that.
Listen.
No, we're segueing to the
we're
point.
Gonna put
y'all
out
want to
there.
have Pastor Amos.
Listen, I am scarred because she has clothes that she still have in this bag that needs to be hung.
That's okay. Listen.
You don't no more shopping until you put the stuff up.
Spring cleaning. No, we're not going to segue all night. I promise we have a lesson to teach, which I'm going to pivot now into.
Yes.
Which is so funny because the next point of the essential of how to reach potential and purpose is to build the right relationship. And truth be told, I promise you, I wouldn't do this with anybody else. You have to build the right relationship. So if you're taking notes, if you have been taking notes, essential number 5 for reaching your fullest potential and purpose is build the right relationship. And what I was going to say about that probably 20 minutes ago was that if I don't clear my heart and mind, if I don't take care of my body, those things really will hinder my relationships, right? There are moments where I am fully maxed out on tabs open in my brain, where I cannot retain information to the point where I now am leaning and depending on my husband to remind me to do simple things like, hey, remind me that, and it's something already on the calendar, but then I have to be reminded that the thing is on the calendar, or I have to be reminded to take a vitamin, or I have to be reminded for everything. So I multitask at the same time. I over multitask. So if there's anybody else, I over multitask. I'm trying to do so much in such a little bit of space and time. And it does come to a point where you do say yes to so much. And then you don't have the capacity for anything else. So how do you reach your fullest potential when you have maxed out your capacity? The way that you do it, the Lord says tonight, is you have to build the right relationships. The right relationships will partner you with people that can fulfill those tasks that you can't do yourself. It'll help.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know they're right when they add to you and they don't take away.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that you have to keep cultivate. I mean, you have to cultivate water, you know, relationships in general. But God-given, purpose-fulfilling relationships are those ones where you share. You just met that person, you feel their vibe, and God has given you something to help them fulfill their dream and vision without blinking.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take anything out of you to do that. A real life. I always like to give real life examples because I really want you to either one be able to see that in your own life happening, or look out for that because this is how it can come to play.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we moved to Dallas. We're up here in the North Dallas area.
Mm-hmm.
I found me a hairdresser. Now, this is not her work job. This is twisted up because of COVID. But I had found me a hairdresser because I had decided I was going to grow my hair, my natural hair, and just really longer, but not healthier, really more so. And so it led me to a young lady, and I was like, well, Instagram kind of showed her to me, and showed me her work. I made the appointment, and truly out of that hair appointment, we have formed a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
There were things, she was literally at the time just a hairdresser.
Mm.
Like all she did was run her business, and she had so many ideas to expand her business and brand. And my gifting in branding and graphics were something that I had not yet leaped out and did for other people.
Mm-hmm.
It was things that I were doing on my own, but I had not yet offered my services to anybody else. Sitting there in the hairdresser chair, we're chatting, yada yada yada, and she's like, "Oh, I would love to do this, but I don't know. I can't find anybody to do it." Something in me said, "Volunteer your services," that kind of thing. Needless to say, we bonded, connected,
Mm-hmm.
and she has now launched 3 additional businesses, one of which I literally had a dream about and gave her, and it has thrived for her. I was like, I think you could really go in this area.
Mm.
And that was a God-given relationship for her and I to come together, for us to not, for me to have the confidence that yes, you can do branding and graphics, and you can build websites in your sleep, and you can do the creative things that you had put in a box. It's all about those gifts that you using all gifts and not just some gifts. I thought that the art side for me had died back in high school.
I hate to plug everybody. The shirts that everybody saw on Sunday, the St. Luke Garland shirts, was designed by yours truly, Pastor Jasmine. That's how gifted she is. She designs shirts. She has a whole company, For Grace Creative, that's designing shirts that she just let slip and go to sleep. And we're going to wake it back up, y'all.
Just humble. They're out there. But yeah, so, gosh, you got me off my point again.
Listen, you helped. Yeah.
But yeah, so this young lady now has one of the most thriving hair businesses in Dallas. She has her own hair, product line, creams and shampoos and all these things, silk pillowcases and all this. I'll plug it later because that's my homegirl now. But she had the seed, and all it took was for me to make a hair appointment, for me to be able to water it with a little bit that I thought I could contribute, and it made it everything. And then our friendships and our talks and our conversations together allow her to build additional businesses, and it allowed me to build mine, where other beauty salons and product lines are reaching out and say, hey, you did this for this person. Can you do this for me? Absolutely. Whatever you need. But I would not have had the confidence to go in that direction either. And that's what I mean about building right.
In 25 years and being in the music industry, it's really based on a lot of relationships.
Absolutely.
And, I've been fortunate in 25 years. I've never really had a chance to do a major tour. I think one of the musicians, as a younger musician, 15 years ago, I wanted to tour. That's kind of before.
About that.
I wanted to tour, but it's not for you. But because touring, you get a lot of connections, a lot of platforms, And
but it also comes with a lot of stuff.
But that's we're not going to do a focus on that.
Okay.
So, but I wanted to tour. I did a little bit of touring, a little bit, and because I was like, oh, I want to meet people and stuff. I say all that to say is that God has favored me to still have the same level of connections and favor being at home than some people who are on tour because I have built the right relationships. A lot of my partners, you know, that it's funny. Sometimes you look at award shows or certain shows, game shows, and you look at the band. I'm like, I know them. That's my boy. Like, you know, it's so. The thing is that having the right relationship, sometimes you could just be at home and still have the same influence as someone who is traveling the world. Mm-hmm. It's all about building the right relationships. And so I'm thankful. Like the fact that we're here in Dallas is because of having the right relationships. I'm serious because, you know, the person, you know, who helped kind of open the lane for us to come to Dallas is a great brother of mine. You know, Jamar Jones is a professor over at UT Arlington. Mm-hmm. And he is an amazing guy, amazing musician, but he was key. Our relationship was so key into just having us look at, okay, I think Dallas might be the way, you know what I'm saying? And so, and when we even went through a rough patch being in Dallas, it was because of his relationship and our friendship, our brotherhood, that opened another door that has blessed our lives so much to the point that we are like amazed. So every time I see him, I'm like, bro, I love you, man. Like, because it's all about having the right relationships.
So let me give you the key. And then if you pull up the scripture for that essential, what we want you to focus on this week as you're thinking about right relationships. And if we're saying something, you know, we can see these hearts and likes. Go for it.
Come on, y'all.
You need relationships and not isolation to pursue goals, to engage in activities, and to overcome adversities. Mm-hmm. So if you feel like, you know, hey, my friend circle is about as big as it's going to get, relationships aren't just about, hey, how many friends can I have and invite at the table, or how many friends do you talk to? It's literally just building as you go about life, as you engage on social media, because, you know, now COVID has you a little bit more home. As you're doing things, are you connecting? Are you pouring? Are you sharing tips? Are you advising? Are you just being you and connecting with people that will pull more out of you, pull more gifting out of you? And the same, are you doing the same for somebody else? Because half the time, the things that God gives us aren't for us. Mm-hmm. They're for us to have, to flourish, and then connect with other people, and then pour into them and pull their gifting out of them. Mm-hmm. By biblical examples of things that have happened because of the right relationship are, for example, Noah and his 3 sons and their families built the ark, which saves all of creation. Moses worked with Aaron and Joshua. Nehemiah helped. He needed so much help to rebuild the walls. Even though God had given them the vision to rebuild the temple, he needed help. If he was out there by himself building wall by wall, it would never have gotten accomplished. Mm-hmm. Paul spread the message of Jesus with Timothy, Barnabas, Silas, Titus, and Luke. And we already know that they got locked up together. I mean, you got to have those ride or die relationships that are going to take you all the way to the end. And then, you know, Jesus had the 12 disciples. Jesus, being who he is, all God, you know, all divine and all human, didn't necessarily need anyone. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he showed us with full, example that you need relationships in order for your purpose to be fulfilled. And I'm telling you, whatever phase and stage we are in life, you will always need a relationship. And it's not necessarily a spouse. It could be a friend. It could just be a short encounter. But if you are here on this earth with breath in your body, there is still more purpose to be fulfilled. There's still more gift within you. And that means every day you should wake up and say, God, show me, bring to me the people that you want me to bless. Bring to me the people that you want in my life. Bring to me the people that you need to connect. Bring me the person that's going to help this idea come to pass. Bring me whoever you need me to be connected to in this season. And then, and then the caveat to that is also take the people away.
I was just about to get to that.
Cluttering the space.
I mentioned a couple of weeks ago.
Your purpose being fulfilled.
Choosing people that choose you. Mm-hmm. You stop investing into relationships or connections with people who aren't building you, who aren't sharpening you. Iron sharpens iron. That's what it says in Proverbs 27, verses 17. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Mm-hmm. Again, Proverbs 27, verses 17. That should be on your t-shirt.
Yeah.
As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. That's a true definition of friendship. Because if you're dealing with people you're around and all you felt like when you walk away from them, you feel drained and you feel depleted, you feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I had to do so much just to be that's tough. That's not something that builds. It's destroying. If friends are always giving you destructive criticism instead of constructive criticism, those are not friends. Those are haters. You can't deal with people who are trying to destroy you. You need people who's going to help construct. Now, constructive criticism hurts. It may resemble a little bit of destruction, but no, it's different. It helps build you. Sometimes you got to be broken in order to be built. And so I personally like to deal with people who don't mind giving me constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Because you can't deal with
it's coming from
but you can tell the difference between constructive and destructive criticism.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And so I surround with people who's going to give me constructive criticism. Because you need somebody who's going to keep it real. Don't give me all the fluff and make me feel good all the time. I need to know, like, brother, Pastor Amos, your breath smells. Pastor Amos, you wrong. Pastor Amos, you don't dress right. Your shirt wrinkled. Like
I'm still very tickled with it that you used that first.
Listen, I mean, but honestly, who wants a friend who was going to tell you, like, you walk around with you
about
wrong.
Your potential and purpose? Let's focus on that.
Listen, don't
Y'all
mind.
know he keep it real.
I just keep it real.
Rare form once
Listen,
tonight.
But honestly, you need to keep people around you who's going to keep it 100. Keep it real.
Yeah.
Because if you surround yourself with people who are not going to keep it real, you're not able to go to your fullest potential, because you only are going to go to the potential that you're limited around. You're the product of your surroundings. Mm-hmm. If your surroundings are a bunch of people who's going to just say yes at all the times, who's going to just tell you what you want to hear, you're not going to be able to reach your fullest potential. You're not going to be able to reach what God has destined for you. Find you somebody who's going to keep it real, like sister so-and-so, you were wrong. Go back and say sorry. Go back and keep it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to tell somebody who's going to tell them when you were wrong. Not all somebody's going to keep telling you when you were right. Yeah. Keep it 100. Find you a circle of people. Now, sometimes, I ain't gonna lie. You need somebody who can give you some fluff sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I need somebody to tell me, you the man, Pastor Amos, you the man.
Because I was about to say, yes, keep it 100, but no.
But you need a circle. Like Jesus had 12, but not all of them was in his inner circle. You know what I'm saying? You need some people that you could be vulnerable with.
No,
that's Bill. Yeah.
But still in your vulnerability, still in your having, I think the thing that's unspoken in describing all of what you just said is the fact that it should be understood among your friend circle that when you do speak to each other, you can be honest and not be hurtful, right? Mm-hmm. You can be 100 and still package it in a way that it can be receptive to the ears. I learned this a long time ago. And taught this to you probably way in the back of the day. And I say way back in the day, but it's probably like not that long for y'all. But still, people can receive what I'm trying to figure out how to say it nicely, and y'all get what I'm saying. But basically, sandwiched between people can receive information that you're trying to portray to them. If it's a tough situation and you really don't know how you can be open and transparent, humble, open and transparent, if you don't know how to really breach that threshold of being 100 with your friend circle, always put tougher information sandwiched between something positive. We call it a BS sandwich, but I don't even want to say that, but that's really what it is.
Well,
where you put the meat of what you're saying in between something that is easier receptive to that person, because you don't know as long as that friendship has been, as long as you have been they've said whatever they wanted to say to you. Sometimes there are going to be some moments that you're going to have even in right relationships that you're just going to have to package the information differently. But listen, the really at the end of the day, the relationship is still going to propel you towards purpose. It's still going to propel you to your fullest potential. And the reason why we know that is because we have lived that. Whether friendships last or don't last, whether relationships last for a short while or for a long term, each one has helped us get to where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Each one is adding to it. And the way that you know that is because you should be in this continual rhythm of asking God to send you the people. Like, Lord, please put the right people in my space, remove the people that's not supposed to be here. You should be in that rhythm all the time, so that you're always making sure you're in the right place.
Well, just don't say it, and then when it happens, you're like, oh my goodness, just you wasn't ready for God actually responding to your prayer, because you're like, okay, God, anybody who's not supposed to be around me, God, just remove him. And then when you remove him, you're like, wait, I didn't, you have to be.
They had to be knocked down, dragged out, removed.
Because some of us have those friends that are questionable. Like, okay, when they walk around, when I leave their presence, are they going to badmouth me?
Mm-hmm.
And some of us, some people are, some people keep those type of people around because they make you feel a certain way, but they're not necessarily, they may be good to you, but then they may not be good for you. And so sometimes when you ask God, hey, God, remove people who ain't supposed to be, it may be them people that have been good to you, but aren't good for you. Mm-hmm. And you mad at God, like, why did you, but God was like, you wanted to, right? Because the key word is build. Yeah. I'm going to say the word build the right way. You can't build with just anybody. You can't build life. You can't build relationships with just anybody. It takes being able to be broken, build, molded. There is a process, and not everybody can survive that process. Yeah, so it's good to have different pockets of people in your surroundings. But if you want to build, it requires a different tier of friendships. It requires a different tier of connections. It requires a different tier. Like, you can't go to the next level with just anybody.
And you don't necessarily have to. When you were emphasizing build, the thing that came to mind just now, and we're going to move on to the next essential, but the thing that came to my mind was that, there are moments even in keeping it 100 and building that we probably put 100% of weight on our friendships on that one person, on each and every single individual. For example, you have a business idea and you get so upset because your friend wasn't your first customer, mm-hmm. Or if you're a friend, like you said, you are, you would support me in every endeavor and you would do this and you would do that. Listen, that's not their place in your life. There are some relationships you're going to build for that purpose, but perhaps that relationship isn't for that.
Listen, I will give an example. I was in my feelings years ago. It's about at least 10 something years ago where, I ventured out and launched my business. Hmm. I launched my own business and I'm thinking like all my friends will support me. They'll come, we needed some painting. We needed some stuff done. Oh, and you thinking like people come in out the droves and they're going to come help you and help you build. I would say out of 10 people, 2 people showed up. It devastated me.
And one might have been observing.
And one of them was not even my friend. It was not a stranger, but it was like an associate, somebody least expected, a friend of a friend. Ended up becoming a good friend, and God, he passed away. But it was sad. I was so hurt because I was thinking like all my friends are going to come in and swarm and help me build. And a lot of them just spectated. They just watched. They said, is he going to fail? Is he going to fall? And only a few of them came in and actually helped me build. Mm-hmm. And eventually we ended up walking away from that business. But I had to go through that in order to learn the lessons I needed to learn. And honestly, those friends that were there with me when I failed or didn't necessarily, I won't call it a failure, but it was a necessary lesson. To a different place. It was a pivot. Yeah, we made a better decision, a better business decision. So that person, listen, I will go to bat for them, mm-hmm. But sometimes, we have. I would say I've gone to bat for people who didn't go back. Because sometimes we have the expectation you'll reciprocate it. If I'm going to go all out the way to help you, you would think the normal gesture they will do it for you. But that's not the case. That's, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful of the type of people you build with, because they may not be big in numbers. It's not the quantity, it's the quality.
And it's who it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So my point was, there are different kinds of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
The different biblical examples, they weren't all the same kind of relationships. Mm-hmm. Noah used his family. Moses had people who were younger than him that were in his life that God said, use these people. Jesus went around town and chose disciples. So you have to, as you are asking God about, God, who is supposed to be here? How am I supposed to reach my potential? Remember that as people come, then you have to also put them in their right place. You cannot put the same onus. You cannot put the same demand. You cannot put the same expectation on every single person that comes into your life, because that's not what there's reasons and there's seasons. So don't always assume that everybody who's now going to come into your life, or everybody who's in your life right now, is supposed to have the same, impact or influence or expectation or something, that you are supposed to get from them. It could be that they have been tagging along, they have been quiet, they have been with you, they haven't really probably supported you financially, and that's fine, or whatever business endeavor, but they are there because they are learning from you, because God has them in your life to pour into them through example. A lot of the people that sat on the sideline as you were building your business, or a lot of people that sat on the sidelines as we were formulating a relationship and buying houses and moving and things like that, are the persons who are walking in it now. And I think, and we know for a fact, and they have come and they have thanked us, and they have come and said, had it not been for your example, I would not have been able to do the same for my family. So sometimes, listen, we can't always ask things of the people that God has brought into our life. There's some things that God is really just, he's just bringing people close to you, so that, I'm like, well, why they here if they ain't helping? Sometimes they're just here so they can watch you do it.
To glean,
Because God has something for them to do, but they don't know how to do it, or they don't have the courage to do it, and they're watching you.
There are certain connections, and we got to move forward because we're almost at the end. But we may go a little over, but listen.
Or we may save the other two for next time.
Okay, we may be just stuck here, but the thing is, understanding, categorizing, I guess, to people around you. There are my job did a study on conversational intelligence.
Yes.
There are different levels of conversations you have with people. There's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 conversations. And so that's how you learn how to separate. Like, to have a tier 1 conversation, that means that you're like at that level. Then there's a conversation you have at level 2 with somebody who may not be able to go to level 1. I'm gonna break it down. And it is so what I mean by that, there's certain friendships are not iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. That's good.
There's certain friendships, it's not going to be like, okay, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. There's certain friendships that you're going to have to carry that weight to pour into them. It may be not necessarily a friendship, it may be more of a mentor, a mentee. It may be, but it's a relationship. But there's an inequality. That means that there's a teacher-student type of things. And I know that because I have quite a few of them that look up to me, like, and they are friends. But I understand I can only but go so far with them, because that's what I'm saying? So, but having an awareness of what tier to put your friendships on. You can't have iron sharpens iron with somebody who doesn't have a sharp tool to share with you to help build you. And so that's what I mean by that. There's levels to different relationships and connections. So that when I'm talking about building, you need that iron sharpens iron. You need somebody who has more, just about as much as you, or even have more knowledge, resources. It's important to be aware. And that's what I mean. It's just,
this is great, because I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm encouraged, and I hope you're encouraged as well, because I feel like this is something that we may need to even break down even further, especially in almost like a workshop setting of how do you build relationships in a social media setting, because truth be told, I know that there's gifts in some of you that are watching. Actually, I know there's gifts in all of you that are watching tonight, but I know that there is a passion or something that you have been wanting to do for so long. And you're like, Pastor, but I don't know that person over there, but I've always wanted to talk to them, or I don't know this person over there. And how did you do this? And how did you do that? And I almost want to be able to give you that information, in a social media space or in a networking kind of space. How do you build relationship with people you do not know? It's called evangelism, to be honest. But you can evangelize one on behalf of Jesus, or you can evangelize on behalf of the purpose that God has for you. How do you know when to speak up and when not to speak up? How do you know when to add onto your plate and when you don't? But we will get there. But I think that's good. I think the what you were saying as far as tiered conversations is absolutely good. And all I was going to add on to that was, real life situation. You already know that you have friends who you tell all your business to.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some friends that I call them hands distance, arms distance away, like, hey, good to hear from you again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that mutual, you're not necessarily an associate, but you're a little bit closer. And then perhaps there's some people that you just only know from a high-by situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so just be mindful that if God is saying, hey, passion and purpose is the focus for this season, and he's saying essential for that is to build the right relationship, just be also vigilant in the fact that there are going to be different kinds of relationships. And there's going to be different kinds of needs. Mm-hmm. And you have to remain prayerful as to where that's going to fall. I don't think we have enough time to touch on the other two.
No, we'll just continue. I wanted to introduce what we're going to do next month. Okay. And we're going to do a little bit. We're going to start next week, but we're going to close the series on next Tuesday. But starting Saturday, I want us to do a proverb chapter, read the book of Proverbs, a chapter a day.
Starting Saturday?
Starting the May 1st.
Okay, May 1st.
There's 30. I believe there's 31 chapters in
Yes, 31 proverbs.
Yeah.
And so beginning on Saturday, if you pick one proverb per day.
Yes.
We're gonna walk.
Yes, 31. So we're gonna walk the month of May. We're gonna walk the book of Proverbs. And so next Tuesday we're gonna start this whole series for the whole month of Proverbs. We're just because I'm telling you, Proverbs have so many good life nuggets.
Dag, we do got to start the new series. So before we do that, then I guess we just should share the other essentials, and then just know that the meat of that will come after our Proverbs series. Okay, guys? So essential 6 and essential 7. Essential 6 is having a balanced schedule. We talked about clearing mind, clearing heart, using all of our gifts, having a healthy body. We've talked about building right relationships. Now we're saying having a balanced schedule. I think that we talked on it anyway in the beginning. We just didn't hit the number. We definitely talked about having a balanced schedule and just clearing our deck and taking a break and pausing. So you already know how, what the word of the Lord says about having a balanced schedule. Mm-hmm. Jesus didn't justify his schedule. He always said he was about the work of the Lord and going about his Father's business. You don't have to make excuses about your schedule. Set it for what it is. If things become cluttered, make that time and move forward to have balance in order for you to have space, in order for you to do the things that God is asking you to do. You're not on this earth just to get up, go to work, take care of family, eat, and go to sleep. There's some other things that you have to fit in between there. And how do you do that? You balance your schedule. Mm-hmm. I know I'm glossing over, but I promise you we're either going to preach on it or we're going to have to tackle it back in June. Mm-hmm. But number 7 is take God-approved risks. Take God-approved risks. Listen, there are some things that you are going to have to take a risk and do. It's called faith. God-approved risk is faith. Faith is what is needed to risk is what is needed to strengthen our faith. Risk is what is needed to strengthen our character. Risk is what is needed to carry us to reach to our full potential. Mm-hmm. We can talk y'all to death. We can pull out every point. We can give you every life example. But if all you're doing is sitting there and watching us live our life, you're not taking the risk that you need to take in order to reach your full potential.
I'll be honest. When I saw this point, my heart leaped a little bit, and we got to go. But coming to Dallas was a God-approved risk for both of us. When God spoke to me about Dallas, I first was like, I don't think Pastor Jasmine's gonna do this. Like, I don't, you know.
I
And
didn't
I
think
said,
I would either, to be
yeah.
honest.
So, but I said, God, it has to. I don't just want to do a good move. I want to do a God move. So many of us just settle for a good move and not wait for a God move. I'm gonna say it again. Some of us just settle. I'll just make a good move. It may not be a risk. It may not be require much faith. But a God move, it's a risky move. When God is in it, it's going to require faith. You can't see it. You don't got the resources. You don't got anything that makes sense. Sometimes a God move doesn't make sense. It's a risk worth taking, a God move. Don't just settle for the good move. Go for the God move. But you got to make sure it's a God move, because a God move, again, certain things, sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Most times it don't make sense. Most of the times it'll be you taking the pay cut. Most of the times it'll be you taking 2 steps backwards so he can propel you to go forward. We took the God approved risk to move to Dallas. It meant that we would have to literally put in a 2 weeks notice, quit our jobs, pack our house in 2 weeks, and be right here as if nothing had changed. And that was a lot of transition with a 2-year-old. Okay. And so we took that God approved risk. But here's what I thought you were going to lift up: the question of, what's that one thing you're going to do that will change the rest of your life?
That's a whole Tuesday night by itself.
One thing. What's that one risk you're going to take?
We have coaches. We have a coach. A coach. He's a pastor, and he takes time to kind of pour into us. That's the relationship. He pours in. So he left us with this deep question. At the end of our last life coach session, he's like, I need y'all to think of this. What is one decision you will make that will change your whole life forever? And I was like, ouch, because moving to Dallas was one of those decisions 5 years ago that we made that changed our life forever. And I'm so it was exciting, and it has to be a God approved risk. Now there's not just because Pastor and I, we have lots of ideas, we have tons of ideas.
Listen,
but is it a God idea? Is it a God move?
I'm just gonna go ahead and be a cosmetologist. I'm done.
But
that's
seriously,
not a God approved risk for my life.
But it excited me because it caused me to start praying. Like, okay, God, what are you saying? Where are you leaning to? And sometimes it takes time for it to just manifest and see. But we're at the edge of our seat, like, God,
what's that risk you need us to take in order for us to be at our fullest potential?
And I want to say this, St. Luke, God is going to want us to. He is leading as a church family. God is leading us to take a God risk. Stay tuned. I really feel it's bubbling. Something's brewing, y'all. St. Luke, something's brewing. I'm saying it for the record.
We're going to need everybody to be risk takers.
Yes.
And if you don't think about those things, and I know we kind of rushed towards the end, but we really got to the meat of what we wanted to say earlier. You are the people that God sent for us to be at our full potential. You are the relationship that we are building in this season. If it had not been for you being members of this church, if it had not been for you being connected, if it had not been for you being faithful, our God-given potential and purpose could not be fulfilled in this season. And if in fact that God has brought us all together virtually and however he's going to do it, then the things that he wants us to do, we have to do them together. We are going to have to take some God-approved risks individually and collectively. And so you're going to have to step up to being a risk taker in this season.
My God.
We don't want to hold you forever. We only wanted to borrow a little bit more time, but we wanted to share, at least close that out, the essentials for purpose and passion. Wanted to close that out so that we can begin fresh on May 1st by reading a proverb every single day.
It's going to bless y'all. It's been a while since I've done a proverb chapter a day, but I'm telling you, the revelation that God speaks through that, I guarantee the month of May is going to be a very definitive year for you. So please, I'm going to send out a message to all our members. We're going to do a chapter of Proverbs a day starting May 1st. This Saturday, listen, we're going to walk through this journey together. Every Tuesday, we're going to do a recap of the preceding chapters. And it's going to be a journey. I believe God is going to speak. I'm telling you, even for the ladies, because I know God speaks in Proverbs
Yeah.
specifically for the women, the virtuous women. All right. And so it's going to be a special time in this journey starting Saturday, May 1st. We're going to do a chapter of Proverbs every day of the month of May. So we can't wait.
Can't wait. All right. So you already know that a part of our vision for this house is that we always offer you the opportunity to sow, because we know that through sowing, through stepping out on faith, by taking that God-approved risk, by trusting him with our finances, we know that God will bless us beyond what we can think, dream, or imagine. And so tonight we're offering you the opportunity to sow and partner with us here at St. Luke, whether you're a member or not. If this word blessed you in any way, I encourage you to sow through Cash App tonight. Pastor Amos is right. It's right above his head. The Cash App handle is $SLAME sowers, SLAMEC sowers, or you can give through Givelify tonight by going to our website at stlukegarland.org and sowing a seed. Because we already know that this is good ground, and we know that God is going to do amazing things, and we are going to do it together.
Amen.
Well, y'all, listen.
We're praying for, as a couple of our members have been going through. We're praying for you. If there's any prayer requests, feel free to reach out to us. If you got to email us at info@stlukegarland.org, or just send a message whether on your YouTube pages or on our Facebook or Instagram. We check them all. And if you have our numbers, if you are a member, you get a text from us several times a week. You know how to reach us. You have our number, and we are here for you. We love you. We're praying for you. We're excited as to what God is doing in our church, in our lives. And we can't wait to see you Sunday. I'll be preaching. Yeah. So y'all better be there, because y'all show up for Pastor Jasmine. You need to show up for me too.
Everybody shows up. Get your life. So listen, y'all pray for us. I think that COVID shot has Pastor Amos one on tonight. So y'all keep us prayed up. As y'all can see, like I feel it. So y'all just pray for us. It's going to hit my body tonight. And so I'm rushing off to take some Tylenol, but just keep us prayed up, and and we will see you Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Central. And we'll see you again next Tuesday as we begin to dig deep into the book of Proverbs. All right. Love y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Enjoy your family. Love y'all so much.
See you next week.